looks like something they may automatically implement, which again would be in an effort to save the government money. Not necessarily the best interest of the beneficiary, but rather to save the government money. Interesting how that works, right? They don't care about us, whether it's the best fit for us or not. Who cares? Let's just save the government money. Yeah, good plan, right? All right, anyway. Let's pop this up right here. This is a screenshot. I'm going to be 100% fair with you. This is a screenshot. There's actually two screenshots here. I'll do one right after the other. But these are AI summaries. There's a bunch of articles that are out there talking about this, but I wasn't really able to find an article that I liked. It wasn't very clear and concise, but I thought, you know what, this AI summary is actually pretty good, so I'll just share this with you. All right, anyway, so here's what they want to do. New Medicare enrollees would be automatically put into a Medicare Advantage plan. Now, there's a lot of bad rap out there around Medicare Advantage plans. Now, here's the deal. They're good for about half the people, and they're not so good for about half the people, okay? Statistically, about 53-ish% of people are enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans, and about 47% of people are enrolled in traditional or original Medicare. So again, it's fine for about half the people, but the other half, probably not so much. All right, anyway, here's the problem though. By default, when somebody enrolls in Medicare, they default to original Medicare, okay? The original traditional Medicare, and again, it's the same thing, it's just two interchangeable names, original Medicare or traditional Medicare. But it's default to that, okay? But what they want to do is they want to default it to Medicare Advantage and put that burden on these other Medicare Advantage plans. And again, the private insurers is who they want paying rather than the federal government through original Medicare, if that makes sense, right? But the deal is, there's, some differences between Medicare Advantage and original Medicare that, may not honestly be the great fit, best fit for the beneficiaries that are being put onto these plans. But at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning of this video, it seems like they don't really care what is the best fit for the beneficiary, but rather what is the best fit for the federal government to save as much money as they possibly can. So here's the deal. When you turn 65, okay, you become eligible for Medicare. Okay, well, you can sign up a few months before, the 7-month initial enrollment window, or if you happen to be somebody under the age of 65 and you are getting cash disability benefits, as in SSDI benefits, after 2 years, then you would also qualify for Medicare. And again, I'm using general terms here. I don't know your exact situation, but again, this is just general information, okay? That's who becomes eligible for Medicare. And again, statistically, it's about 11,000 people a day right now, about 330,000 people a month, and about 4 million people a year right now that are becoming eligible for Medicare. Well, what they want to do is basically automatically put all of these people onto Medicare Advantage and maybe even lock them in on Medicare Advantage with no option to go back to original Medicare for a minimum of 3 years. Now, that is still up in the air right now. We don't know about this locking provision within there as well, but that was originally introduced, again, about a year ago, where they talked about this, hey, we're going to lock everybody in on Medicare Advantage for a minimum of 3 years, and then maybe after that time frame, if they want, they could transition back to original Medicare if they desired. Well, this puts people in a little bit of a predicament, especially if Medicare Advantage plans are not the best fit for them and their personal situation, because some of these plans may not cover your doctor, your office, your hospital system, your prescriptions, whatever medical procedures you may need. Again, the list goes on, whereas with original Medicare, if a doctor accepts Medicare, well, basically you can go to them, right? Which is a lot of doctors and doctors' offices and clinics and hospital systems. And again, this is ubiquitous across the entire country. So if somebody lives in, say, Florida, for example, again, I'm just making up a state, if they live in Florida and they decide, hey, I'm going to travel to Arizona, and they decide to travel to Arizona, and then, I need to see a doctor. If they're on original Medicare, if there's a doctor in the Arizona area, wherever they are, that accepts Medicare, they could go there just like as if they were at home going to their doctor in Florida. Same thing. However, that's original Medicare. Now, let's just say that this has, this individual's on Medicare Advantage. Big difference. Person in Florida with a Medicare Advantage plan can see maybe their doctor, their clinic, their hospital system, whatever it happens to be. But in the same instance, if they were to travel to, say, again, in this example, back to Arizona, and all of a sudden they maybe need to see a doctor, good luck. They're not going to find a doctor in that network. it's probably not going to happen. Therefore, they're going to probably get hit with a huge medical bill for out-of-network fees and all kinds of things like that, and it could get very expensive very quickly, which is why a bunch of people like Medicare Advantage, because they maybe don't do a bunch of traveling, or maybe they're not out of their area or their region a whole lot, or maybe because the expenses on Medicare Advantage plans are significantly lower, or maybe the extra benefits. There's a whole variety of reasons why people may like Medicare Advantage. But then those individuals that may cross county or state lines or travel across the country and just want that flexibility to be, hey, no matter where I am across the country, if something happens where I need to see a doctor, I can just pop into a local clinic or a hospital system, whatever it happens to be, and it will accept me as a patient on Medicare, provided they accept Medicare. There you go. You're good, right? Same, just like